Godzilla 2014, the first American Godzilla film. The first American Godzilla film. Opening credits over a bunch of news and stock footage. Then in 1999, in a dig in the Philippines, there's a disturbance, so they call up Kurosawa, which is a reference to the director and eye patch doctor from the original 50s film. Just a name reference, they're not really related. His and his assistant dive into the caves of why do modern films need to be so unnecessarily dark. And then you find something important. Might have something to do with that giant snail trail we somehow missed on the flight over. And because giant monsters are attracted to Japan, we cut there. Good, it's an American family living in Japan. The kid is Ford, and his dad is Bryan Cranston of all people. And he's all business, probably selling some blue magic to Japan. And stuff was going on, so he sends his wife to shut down the reactors. But oh no, Japan, and there's earthquakes. No, wife is in the basement having to run away from, blood. So Bryan Cranston has to close the door just as his wife shows up at the door, but he can't open it because all the water blood is rushing, and oh no. 15 years later, Ford grew up to become Kick-Ass. He has a son named Sam and a wife named Ellie, played by Elizabeth Olsen, which is hilarious because the two played Pietro and Wanda in the MCU, and like Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch are brother and sister. So I guess someone read Ultimates 3. If you know what I mean, but probably not. The next day, Ford has to fly down to Tokyo to bust Bryan Cranston out of jail again. And in his old age, he's obsessed with finding his wife and he can't move on from that nuclear disaster. He's like, Dad, stop being weird, we're going home. He's like, no, we gotta go into the quarantine zone. That was good enough, so they boat in and look around the ruins. And by Japan, I think they meant Ohio. Well, never mind, it's not even toxic. So we Gucci, let's go on. Japan at it again, just letting houses rot. They find a bunch of floppy disks, and because movie, they're clearly going to work despite being in a house rotting for 15 years. But the Popo arrives. If this was America, they'd probably be shot right here. And in Japan, they'd probably be loaded up on the van and dumped outside of the zone and maybe arrested. But instead, they're going to be driven into the center of the thing where they can see the giant speaker pulsing. Oh man, is it going to be Batra? I hope it's Batra. And the pulsing is kind of messing with tech. But luckily, Dr. Sarah's here. He investigates the floppy disk, and it turns out there are similar readings we're getting right now to that earthquake earlier. I guess they never really thought of comparing energy waves to the ones we were hearing before the cocoon emerged. Bryan Cranston is all like, you dumbasses, why didn't you? It's like, fine, we'll destroy the cocoon, but oh no, conveniently, it's starting to hatch. So they try tasing it, but it hatches anyway. I can't get a good look at it. What's going on? Everything's black and gray. Stupid modern movies, they have HD cameras and don't use them. And the monster has EMP blast. And luckily, because of the electronic lock, so Bryan Cranston can escape, just to get crushed. What a waste. Killing Bryan Cranston off so early in the film during the height of his popularity as Walter White. Figure away, Sarah gets Ford to join him. Turns out Kaiju are ancient megafauna, and Sarah's organization of Monarch are trying to get rid of them because they're the evil that lies beneath the earth. So this movie is trying to rip off Inhumanoids. Hey, that guy looks familiar. Did I come to this film just to see him?
We call him Godzilla.
Sarah's actor was originally supposed to say Godzilla, but being native from Japan, he requested to say Gojira. For the rest of the film, they just do call him Godzilla, so it really is just interchangeable. Turns out the first thing hatched in the Philippines and went all the way to Japan for the nearest radiation, even though the nearest power plant would have been in Hong Kong, but don't worry, we'll get there eventually. They think the two monsters are communicating with each other, so they want to send Godzilla to mess with them. Well, Ford, that was nice, go home. They drop him off in Hawaii, close enough. Turns out the other monster was going on a Hawaiian vacation, and what the hell is that thing? This is the other monster for our Godzilla film? It's called a Muto, and it looks like if a stealth bomber became a Cloverfield monster. We have all these other monster designs we could use, and we went with this. Some might say that's admirable, they decided to design their own, but why bother? Use one of the familiar, beloved monsters. Well, in the dark, the army finds out that Kaijus are army-proof, and Godzilla finally physically appears after an hour. But whatever, Godzilla's finally here, it's pitch black outside, but we're finally gonna get our Kaiju fight and we cut away. Go back! Come on, what gives? Why would you cut away from the giant monsters? That's the reason we're here, dude. What the hell? But now, let's cut away, checking on the kid. Yeah, he's still here. The only bit of the fight we get is a news report about it, and we get to see the aftermath. What a tease. So Ford, being military, decides to tag along with the military who shows up. I guess you can do that. And they think that the Muto is heading towards the mainland because there's another egg that they gave to the Americans, which they dumped in Nevada, and it also hatched, and somehow they didn't notice that until now. And a bigger, meaner, and more female Muto number 2 arrives in Las Vegas. And we still barely see this rampage, even though a unique place like Las Vegas would be really cool for a kaiju film, but we waste it. Sarah realizes, oh no, the Mutos are trying to set up a booty call. We gotta throw Godzilla at him again, wherever he is. The military's like, let's throw a bigger nuke at them. If they eat the stuff, we can choke them with a bigger nuke. So I guess they plan on using the nuke, and they're gonna fly it over on a boat. And it's a clockwork bomb. Luckily, Ford knows how to make bombs because main character. But they transfer via train, and then the Mutos just find them anyway. Then the female Muto flashes their genitals at me. And we have to run away from a flaming train armed with a steampunk bomb. But Ford survived. They try it again, but the Muto steals it again. And cute, they give it to their girlfriend. So they have to send a team to disarm the nuke, and Ford is going along to save the city of LA, whoops. But they're still going. They head in and they immediately find the nuke, but they all conveniently forget how to disarm a bomb, so plan B, they're gonna sail it out of here. And Ford, instead of letting the eggs just starve to death without the nuke they have to feed on, they blow them up anyway. Whoa! Mommy Muto is really mad about this, but finally Godzilla arrives and we finally actually get a monster fight. His atomic breath looks awesome in this, and I really like his charge up to it. As the humans are trying to get the bomb out of here, and it might be cool if it wasn't pitch black out. Here's what it looks like brighten up. It looks a million times better because I can actually tell what's going on. Oh no, Ford is cornered by the moot. Conveniently, they get the bomb out. Conveniently, a helicopter picks up Ford. Conveniently, they somehow fly away fast enough for it to go off. Conveniently, the city is not destroyed from it. Happy ending. And Godzilla poses for Time Magazine, the savior of the city. Then been funny if he then walked through like a school after they said that or something. Because, he's just a big lizard. Everything just gets in his way. He was just taking the bugs down for territory. And that was Godzilla 2014. It kind of frustrates me, but also it's not terrible. Like every Godzilla film, they spend too much time focusing on the humans rather than the monsters. But here I think it's kind of frustrating because Bryan Cranston is amazing as always in this film with a lot of emotional depth and actual character. But they kill him off in the first 30 minutes, and Ford is not as interesting. He's just kind of a cookie-cutter army character, and I really wish just the film followed Cranston. Sarasara and his assistant mostly just stand around and give exposition. They don't do a whole lot. The Muto's design is super generic, and they take up way too much screen time. Godzilla's design is actually really good. A lot of people make fun of it for him being fat, but technically this is more scientifically accurate if he is just a big alligator thing. When you can actually see it, the CGI is good. And the film does do a great job showing just how huge these kaiju are. The big faults of the film is the atrocious dark lighting, which is far too dark to see what's going on most of the time. And for whatever reason, the film just loves cock-teasing us about monsters fighting, and we just cut away to see them on a news report instead. It's so stupid, because half of the appeal of Godzilla films is seeing giant monsters fighting. Overall, it does have a lot of problems, but I would say it's overall enjoyable. 6.5 out of 10. Remember to hit the like button, share with your friends, comment any of your thoughts and opinions, and hit the subscribe button if you're new.